Hello, citizens of the Warp the Webway and YouTube. Welcome to another channel update. It's been a little while. I've been busy with work, school, and family issues. To include, unfortunately, the passing of my grandmother. She's a very sweet lady. But on to happier topics. I did manage to get Star Wars Legion painted up during all of that. Just didn't have time for videos. And I have 3 units of battle droids painted up and ready to go. I'm going to do their bases. I just haven't decided if I'm going to do like a red rock or if I'm going to do a snow base, because I've never done snow bases. So more to come on that later. They were super easy to paint up though. A buddy of mine, I asked him, hey, if you were going to do the battle droids, how would you do the browns with airbrush paints? He suggested Ancient Bone from Minotaur, as well as Mummy from Minotaur. And as you can probably tell, looking at them, I get a pretty decent gradient. So what I did was a Zenthal highlight, and then I did Ancient Bone first over the whole model, and then from the top at about a 45 degree angle, or straight down depending on how I was holding the model at the time, I did the Mummy brown. Once all that was dry, I did Agrax Earthshade because, well, as much as everybody may talk smack about GW, they have some interesting paint products and their shades are very nice. Agrax Earthshade all over it. And then I did the contrast Black Templar on the weapons. And I was really pleased with how that turned out. I really liked how that turned out. And because that got me to technically only 2 colors, and I always try to paint to a tabletop standard. For my 3rd color, I did their little visors for each unit, so that each unit I can tell on the tabletop which one, blue squad, the orange squad, green squad, okay? And they're done. I'm not doing anything else to these dudes. These are going to be picked up and dead within 3 seconds as soon as anything rolls anything at them to shoot them. But I think they are a decent tabletop standard. Now the other thing that came in the box were the Droidicars. And I got these guys painted up. I think they look very nice. I did the same process for the browns back here. And then I used some silly putty to mask all that off. Did an airbrush of just bolt gunmetal, basically. And then I washed it in Nuln Oil. Then I did a dry brush of Dawnstone Silver, which is the Citadel dry product. Again, I used the contrast Black Templar paint on the guns. And I wanted to make the wires pop out a little bit, so I just painted them in orange. I used Sear Gray, watered down, and then did the Ghost Tint Plasma from Minotaur. I just brushed it on. And I'm happy with how it turned out. It's got a fairly decent effect. I hope it shows up well on the camera. And then for their eyes, I just painted them a red using the gems. So these guys are also good and ready to go. I just haven't spray sealed them yet, but I'm going to be doing some spray sealing later today. And also same thing with the bases. Now in this game, and I'll point this out, as you may have noticed, these bases have little 45 degree pie cuts on them. That's important because these are their firing arcs. These guys can only fire something that's in their front firing arc. So some of your models, if they have these striations on the base, that does matter, and you need to not cover them up so you don't have arguments later about where your forward facing arc is, or your side, or that sort of stuff. Most people that I've played this game against, super cool people, never had a problem with them, but everybody knows that guy is out there, so just don't do it. So with General Grievous here, I spent a little bit more time on him. I left him apart. I didn't put on his head or his cloak until I painted the rest of him, because I wanted to paint the cloak separately, and I'm glad I did that, because had I left his cloak on, I would have never been able to get the backside diamondy pattern the way I wanted it to, nor would I have been able to get the backside of him either. Now granted, with the cloak on, you're never going to see much of his shoulder area, back in here or anything like that. I painted it anyway because it didn't take very long. Same process for the armor, the ancient bone and then the mummy, Agrex Earth Shade. I did a silver for his metal bits. What I tried to do was like in here, along his bone, or his what would be his femur and his leg bone. I did that. Then the quote muscly area was the brown armor. I also did the same thing for his hand, and then the inner workings of his bone here, and his elbow joints. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Now what I did with the lightsabers, I did a contrast black for the handle. And I tried wet blending for the first time. So far I think it turned out okay. But I did a really dark orange and then a yellow, and then I just wet blended it through trying to mix the color. Now on the blue saber here, it may not show up as well, but I did a dark blue into a light blue. Next time I do this, I'll probably go add some white to my light blue just to make it a little bit more stark. Because you can see it back here very dark and you can see it up here very much less dark basically. But in the middle you don't get that gradient that shows up as well, I think. Just a personal opinion. For the rest of him, his eyes were a bit of a challenge because in the movies everybody's got that good zoom in kind of conflict shot of what's going on, and between him and Obi-Wan you see that it's red with gold eyes, so I tried to do that. Let me know what y'all think. If you have any comments, put them down in the description below. But this is my army for the Separatist. I've ordered other stuff, but they have not arrived yet. Oh, I forgot to say, the green here, I did a camo, the green contrast camo shade color. I like how it came out. I had to do about 2 coats to get some of it as the way I wanted it to. Then underneath I did an apothecary white contrast and then highlighted with just a white dry brush. So leave your comments in the section below. If you have any questions, please add those. I hope to get channel or videos out. I'm going to be honest with you, it may be once a week at best with the way my schedule's been of late. Here I will put something for everyone to look at. There. And I hope to see y'all in the next video.